The best way to capture student feedback about student engagement is to ask the students. They are ultimately the end users, and they have so much valuable feedback for developers, product developers, for administrators. They have valuable feedback for teachers as well. So when we were in the field working on ed tech pilots, we had students who were able to tell us whether or not a product worked efficiently, if it was on an LG network, a Wi-Fi network, or a hardwired network. And then they were also able to tell us that sometimes those networks that were slower, they were less likely to complete those lessons. That's the type of information developers need to know and be aware of when they're trying to fine-tune their product. So that's the key, and we're not certain that they would get that information from a teacher or a principal. The other thing that students were able to do, they were really able to determine whether or not a teacher was confident. Is a teacher confident using a product? And then when the product was initially introduced into the classroom, if teachers weren't confident, students were less likely to engage in using the product. Even though they are used to using technology, if it was a learning tool and teachers weren't necessarily satisfied and comfortable with using it, then students were less likely to want to use and engage it themselves. And lastly, they were very introspective and thoughtful about their own learning, their own ability to learn and engage with the product. I'd like to share, we had one student who was English as a second language learner, and he didn't necessarily read on what was considered his appropriate grade level, but he was able to master the content in his science class because the reading and the lesson was at his flesh reading level. And because of that, he was able to understand the concept that was presented at his reading level. And he often spoke to us about not normally wanting to read and it would take him so long, but because this lesson was at his reading level, he was able to learn and engage and even participated in the classroom experiments because of that.